Take you back to a story we told you earlier, the unfortunate kidnap of two journalists in Kaduna State. Now this, of course, has been condemned by the NUJ, which has expressed a joint statement released on Sunday in Kaduna by the Secretary, Gambo Sanga, and the chairman of the council. Now, the Kaduna State Council of the NUJ, however, enjoined all practicing journalists in the state to be vigilant, while carrying out their daily activities and also praying for the safe return of their abducted colleague. Joining me right now on the news to discuss this further is Chris Iziguzo, is the national president of the Nigeria Union of Journalists. Thank you for joining me, Chris. Now, very unfortunate event that just happened in Kaduna State. Now, what can you say about this very brazen attack on this journalist and their family?
Well, it's so sad that we woke up this morning to the news of the abduction of these journalists and members of their family. The nation correspondent is also the chair of the Correspondence Chapel in Kaduna State. His wife and two of his children were taken. And while the older young man is the correspondent of the Blueprint newspapers, the wife was initially taken, but was eventually released to us very early today. She got home at about 7 o'clock, and the rest of them were taken away. The Blueprint guy was beaten up mercilessly from the report we got. It's so sad that in this time and age, journalists who are supposed to be people that engage in essential services, social services, as the case may be, the people who provide voices for the voiceless, are now themselves becoming victims of this kind of armed banditry. It's sad, it's quite condemnable, and I want to join my council in Kaduna State to condemn this first and appeal to the hostage takers or the bandits or the kidnappers or the abductors, as the case may be, to quickly release these people, because they have not run foul of the law or done anything that is outside the norm, invading their houses at about 10 p.m. last night and destroying things and picking them. And, you can imagine the psychological trauma on those children. For Abdulgafar, the two children that were taken is between 10 years and 8 years. The first is 10, the second is 8 years. And these small, young lads are subjected to this kind of psychological trauma. It is so terrible, and we really appeal to government and the security operatives to redouble their efforts. We're already in touch with the police in Kaduna State. We're in touch with the DSS in Kaduna and even at the national headquarters. I know that they are working around the clock to ensure that these journalists and members of their families are released unharmed. We pray that they are released as quickly as possible, actually.
I mean, that's the prayer of all of us also, at New Central. But a quick one, any idea as regards the objective or the motive of these abductors?
Well, I wouldn't know. Listening to the wife of one of the persons that were taken, one of the two, when she was narrating what actually happened, the way they invaded the community, the estate where they live, and they were shooting sporadically, and of course they forced their ways into the houses. In fact, one said that one of the bandits was mentioning the name of one of the journalists. He said, "Open the door, open." So we really cannot say what the motive or what the intentions are, but we are hopeful that they will be released. I don't want to insinuate anything, any political angle to it for now, because it will be too premature, too early to make such assumptions. Let us still believe it is clearly the activities of unknown gunmen, better known as bandits. Let's not go beyond that at this moment, and we pray and plead with them to release those journalists without, subjecting them to further, psychological trauma and what have you. Yeah.
All right. Now, Chris, before I let you go, what does this also reflect, as regards the safety, of journalists across the nation? And what should we, from the national body, as journalists, what should we do, moving forward and in terms of our security?
Well, first of all, I must say that quite recently, that was like 2 months ago, when we celebrated the World Press Freedom Day. And the major issues that we're talking about during the World Press Freedom Day has to do with issues around press freedom, has to do with issues around the safety and security of journalists, has to do with issue about promoting issues that would help deepen democratic governance across the nations of the world. And to now see that even while we just came out of such celebration, some journalists have been abducted is not good. It's not a good one at all. It's a sad one for us today, But basically, I would continue to appeal to journalists, my colleagues, across the country. We must be careful. We must be cautious. We must be, know the way we move. Recently we've organized several training programs that revolve around conflict-sensitive reporting. How to report even in a conflict zone. So whatever we do, let's not be passionate about whatever stories that we're chasing. Our own safety should be of paramount importance to us. So wherever we are, in our homes, on the road, at the beach, on our workplaces, let us be security conscious. It's very, very important. The tips we have given to journalists on how to report in conflict areas, they should equally, learn from them on how to carry themselves around, especially in this period of heightened state of insecurity, especially in the Northwest, where banditry is becoming the order of the day, in the Northeast, where insurgency is prevailing, in the Southwest and Southeast, the issues of kidnapping and ritual killings have become the order of the day. In the South and where you have issues of, also kidnapping, and in the North Central, the farmer said that's an issue. So this is a challenging moment. So journalists, let them not feel that they are immune from becoming victims of such a situation. We must be careful and know that we live in the same society, in the same community, in the same system. So we must ensure that the tips we give to other people, we also learn from them in the way we conduct ourselves.
Chris Isiguzo, National President of the Nigeria Union of Journalists, thank you so much for your time on the news. And of course, News Central, as a whole, also prays for the safe return of our abducted colleagues. Once again, thank you.
Thank you very much.